Hey guys, welcome to lecture 19. This will be selecting entries. Oops. Alright, so as always, import the usual. Import pandas as PD, and then from pandas import series data frame. Alright, awesome. So let's just create a series. We'll call it SCR1. And let's go ahead and again use the NumPy arrange method. We'll just have it be 3 points. And we'll set the index as usual for 3 points, just A, B, C. Awesome. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set series 1 equals to every value doubled in series 1. And I'm going to do that to avoid some confusion in the future, and you'll see what I mean later. So we created a series. Originally it would have just been 0, 1, 2, but we doubled every value in it with some multiplication, so now it's 0, 2, 4. And that created our series, or SCR1, that series. Alright, so let's learn how we can select some data. So we can grab entries by the index name on a series. So if we call that series, we can just grab it by the index. So for instance, if I wanted the 2 value, its index is B. So if I call that, I'll grab that 2. Or I can just grab it by its numerical value of the index, that is. So the index will always have a numerical value starting at 0. So A is 0, B is 1, C is 2. This is why I multiplied the values by 2 to avoid any confusion. So if I said SCR1 and call the 1 index on it, that will be the same as the B index, and I'll get the 2 value out. We can also grab it by a range, so I can call from 0 to 3, and that will give me all of them. Awesome. So that's the 0, 1, and 2. 3 was not inclusive there. And we can also grab it by a range of index values as well. So the actual index value names. And I can do that by passing a list. So let's say I just wanted those first 2 values. That'll get me the A and B value. So instead of using the numerical index values 0, 1, 2, I can actually call them by their names. We can also grab by logic, and what I mean by that is just using some Boolean logic or just basic equations. So I'll show you an example. So we have our series, and what do we want to grab from it? We can say, go ahead and grab everywhere that the series is greater than 3. And if I select that, it gives me C4, which was the only value that was greater than 3. And we can also set values using this kind of method. So we can say where it's greater than 3, where series 1 is greater than 3, let's go ahead and set those values equal to 10. And then let's show what it looks like. And now it's replaced any values that are greater than 3 to 10. Awesome. So now that we've seen how selecting entries works in a series, let's go ahead and see how it works in a data frame. So we'll start by making a data frame. First thing we're going to pass are the actual entries, those values. So we'll do it by just getting an array of 25 entries, and let's go ahead and reshape this into a 5 by 5 array, or a matrix, sorry. What's next? We gotta set up the index if we want to have it actually labeled, and we'll use cities again. What else is there? San Francisco. Let's go with DC for Washington DC, and then maybe not sure, Chai for Chicago. And then we can also have the columns by passing the columns argument, and I'm going to start a new line here. Make sure you have this comma here before you start the columns argument. This comma, and then we can go ahead and pass a list. We'll need it to be 5 letters long, so we'll just do A, B, C, D, E. Perfect. And then we'll just show that D frame, that data frame. Cool. So we have our index labeled by cities and our columns labeled by letters. The data itself was just an array from 0 to 24 that we've reshaped into a 5 by 5 matrix. So how do we select data from a data frame? Well, you can select it by column name. So you can call the B column, and that will grab you all the values in that B column. So 1, 6, 11, 16, 21. You can select multiple columns in this same manner just by passing a list. Notice how I'm using 2 sets of brackets here. So if we wanted BE, we call that, and then we get the BE columns. And just like we did in the series, we can use Boolean logic as well. So we can say, give me the data frame values where C column, is greater than 8. And if we pass that, it's going to give us this as a return. So it's giving you every row as the answer where C was greater than 8. So if we look back at our original D frame, the first 2 rows C was less than 8. The last 3 it was greater than 8. So it passed. It gave us the last 3 rows of the entire data frame. You can also show a Boolean data frame, and a Boolean data frame will just have Boolean values, so true and false. And I can do that just by asking, hey, where is D frame greater than 10? And then it'll give me a Boolean data frame, so everywhere that's labeled false, you can see the data frame was less than 10, and everywhere that's true, it was greater than 10. Cool. And as we previously discussed, we can use IX to label index. So to show you an example, we can say dframe IX, and we can pass LA, and it's going to give us those LA values. So that LA row was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's giving us 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the columns as the index values. So another quick example, we can also do this by asking for the 1 row value. So remember, indexing starts at 0. So 0, 1, so that should also be LA. 0 was NYC. And if we check that out, what do we get? We get the same thing as calling LA. Cool. So we'll be selecting entries a lot during this course. So you're going to be seeing this over and over again. And hopefully, as we create more data frames and create more series, you're going to feel really comfortable just making data frames right off the bat with NumPy arrange and then creating index lists and column lists. Alright, awesome. So the next lecture we'll learn about data alignment. I'll see you there.